Good morning. I would like to, can you hear me up north?
Good morning, Governor. Yes, we can hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, good morning. I would like to call today's meeting for Tuesday, July 9th, 2019 of the State of Nevada.
Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Roll call. Governor Sisolak,
Here?
Attorney General Ford,
Here.
Secretary of State Sagaski, here. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum.
Thank you. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item that is on today's agenda, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Comments be limited to 3 minutes. Okay? At the table so we can get a microphone if we could, please. And which item were you speaking on?
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Yeah, well, normally I only take public comment on items that are on the agenda during this public comment. There's another public comment at the end that I take comments on anything.
That's probably where I'm supposed to
You're supposed to be in that one, yeah.
be. Okay. All right.
Okay, we'll take you at the end, okay. Anyone else wishing to, yes, sir.
Yes, my name is David Moore. I'm public comment about the Nevada Dinner Board audit.
Neither.
Okay, so I gotta wait till after.
You gotta wait till the second public comment, yes, sir. We had that one during the audit committee. That was a different meeting, but you can welcome to it under the audit, public comment, second one. Yeah.
Mr. Governor, no one's coming forward.
Okay, hearing and seeing no one, we'll move on to item number 3, approval of the June 13th, 2019 minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a motion on the floor from Attorney General Ford. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, Department of Administration Victims of Crime Fiscal Year 2019 Third Quarter Report and Fiscal Year 2019 Fourth Quarter Recommendation.
Good morning, Governor. Examiners is required to estimate the available revenue and anticipated claim costs for the State Victims of Crime Program. This item includes a report on the claims paid in the third quarter of fiscal year 2019 and a recommendation to pay priority 1, 2, and 3 claims. $7.6 million after covering all expenses and including a 45-day operating reserve, which is an increase of approximately $5 million from the projected reserve of $2.5 million at the end of the third quarter. Funds for operating expenses and payments to victims related to the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival mass casualty event on October 1st, 2017. Representatives from the agency are available to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Do we have any questions from Secretary Sagaski or Attorney General Ford on item number 4?
None, sir.
Do I have a motion to accept this report?
Move to accept.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 5, authorization.
Item 5 includes 2 requests to contract with current and/or former employees pursuant to NRS 333.705 subsection 1. The first request is from the Department of Health and Human Services to contract with a current employee who may provide janitorial services at the rural clinic in Lovelock. And the second request is from the Secretary of State's office to contract with a
I know that this is reserved for items where it's, positions where it's difficult to hire someone or we can't fill a position. And I assume both departments have exhausted all other options? Could I have a representative? Let's start with Health and Human Services, DHHS.
Good morning, Governor and members of the board. This is Beth Handler. I'm the Deputy Administrator at the Department of Health and Human Services. And yes, we have exhausted other options. This is particularly for janitorial services. This company, the husband is the sole proprietor, but the wife, who is a state employee, is listed on the business license.
Okay. Do we have any questions on this one for DHHS? Secretary or General Ford? No?
No, sir.
Okay. Do we have someone from Secretary of State's office? I
Yes,
assume-
sir. Scott Anderson, my chief deputy, is coming up.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Governor. Gillespie was a long-term employee, 35 years with our office in the same division. She retired about 1 year ago, and she's been an integral part of our ESOS rewrite project, which we are soon to conclude. But as part of the ESOS rewrite, we had, we're modernizing our notary services and putting that online. Problem is that those notary documents are in paper format. Ms. Gillespie has a tremendous amount of experience in copies and conversion and quality. Now, it would not be in our best interest to try to train them because this is a short-term contract, 1 year, and we expect it to be done. It's going to be done on a part-time basis, and Ms. Gillespie is the best person to do this for us.
Great. I just wanted to put on the record that we have exhausted all other outside hiring, and I have no problem. These are exceptional circumstances. So I have a motion on item number 5A and B.
Move approval.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you both very much. Motion passes. Item number 6, request for the allocation and disbursement of funds for salary adjustments.
Salary adjustment funds to the Board of Examiners to cover vacancy salary savings built into agency budgets, as well as the 3% cost of living adjustments effective on July 1st, 2017, which were not included in agency salary budgets. An agency whose actual salaries exceeded their budget amount due to the vacancy savings or the COLAs are allowed to request salary adjustment dollars from the Board of Examiners. This item requests access to those funds by the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, State Historic Preservation Office, to cover the cost of the COLAs in the amount of $13,319 in general funds. The Department of Education literacy programs in the amount of $11,070, and standards and instructional support in the amount of $31,400. Institutions and accounts within the Nevada system of higher education to cover vacancy savings and the cost of the COLAs in the amount of $26,417,975 in general funds. The balance in the general fund salary adjustment account, if these requests are approved, is approximately $29.3 million. Representatives from the agency
As the legislature authorized for all their employees, correct?
And she's stepping up now.
Morning, Governor, members of the board. Andrew Klinger, Chief Financial Officer for the Nevada System of Higher Education. Correct. These funds are for the salary increases that were authorized by the 2017 legislature for a 3 and 3, so 3 in the first year and 3 in the second year.
So
Provided to the board. There's a worksheet in there for each one of the budget accounts that shows those calculations.
item number 6. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 7, approval of proposed leases.
There are 4 leases in Agenda Item 7 for approval by the board this morning. No additional information has been requested by the members.
Okay, I've got one on, lease number 4. Representative here?
Someone's coming up here, up north. Mr. Governor.
Ward Patrick for the record, Administrator, Public Works Division. With me, I have Ron Cawthorn and Leanne Lima in the Leasing Division. And I would turn the mic to Ron or Leanne to explain the nature of the Battleborn lease, number 4.
Could you repeat the specific question on that one?
Specific question. The question, can you hear me? Or am I, apparently I'm not getting across because you're not looking this way. I'd like some, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
The Board of Oriental Medicine has been in this location. This is also one of the boards that has It was a gross modified lease, which means that they were paying janitorial previously. We've renegotiated this into a full-service lease.
Our landlord is involved in any litigation with the state, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, do I have a motion as it relates to the leases on item number 7?
Move approval.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I don't have a number 8 on my agenda, so.
Have been requested by the members.
The summary should be in tab 8.
Okay, yeah, I've got the tab 8, yeah, okay. Do I have any questions on, item number 8?
None up here,
No.
Governor.
Do I have any, do I have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval on item number 8, proposed contracts. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nine, Master Service Agreement number 13 and 14 with Stark Medicine, McKay, Karana, Jider have been withdrawn from the agenda. And no additional information has been requested by the members.
Okay, I asked for additional information on, please.
Item number 14 has been withdrawn.
Oh, 14 is withdrawn, okay. That's probably what's withdrawn. Do I have any questions on item number 9?
Not from
Do I
up
have
here.
a motion? Do I have a motion? Number 10, we're moving right through this. Clerk of Board contracts.
There are 57 contracts under this agenda item, and these are under the $50,000 threshold approved by the clerk between May 21st, 2019 and June 17th, 2019. This item is informational.
Which satisfies my question.
Item number 11 is an informational report on the available balances in the various contingency accounts managed by the Board of Examiners or the Interim Finance Committee as of June 25th, 2019. These accounts will cover contingencies through the 2019-2021 biennium, and I am available to answer any questions you might have on this item.
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, that is an information-only item, so we will accept that. That brings us to item number 12, which is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. I've got 2 gentlemen down here at least that came on this item, so.
A statement, so I don't leave anything out.
Okay,
My name is True Hawkins.
and if I could ask you to give us a statement if you're done, we can make it part of the
Absolutely.
record.
I did your
Okay,
copies.
thank you. Okay, go ahead. You can sit.
We can't hear too well.
Verified complaint against board member Dr. Byron Blasco for luring me into his practice with false and misleading advertisements. I've still not been contacted by an investigator to date. Instead, the board attorney, Ms. Chapman, unexpectedly contacted my attorney and convinced him to hold off on my complaint because she said my complaint and it must be investigated by the board, and she should not have called him to convince him to hold off on the complaint. He told me that Ms. Chapman was simultaneously acting as Dr. Blasco's private attorney while acting in a completely conflicting role as full-time state dental board prosecutor. Nowhere in their published policy does it allow the board attorney to call up the patient and try to get him or her to remove a verified complaint. After Ms. Chapman investigated Dr. Blasco's website, her email said, quote, knowing that the complaint as filed is based on currently inaccurate information. What Ms. Chapman didn't realize is that I did take a screenshot of Dr. Blasco's website, which showed the dates on it, and she was not completely truthful. Does she review every complaint and decide herself if it's grounded upon accurate information? I had to refile my complaint against Dr. Blasco and they would only let me sign their verification form if I agreed to not show the dentist's response to anyone else. I have a copy of this for you. I'll leave it for you. Being in the broadcast industry, it seems unconstitutional to me and a violation of my freedom of speech to stop a complainant from disseminating any board documents or responses from the dentist. I just ask that you set some policy guidelines so things get accomplished, that's all.
I appreciate it. If you can leave that with us, and I will
Yes, I
turn
shall.
it over to my legal counsel, and we will look into it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very
I
much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir.
My bite has been totally mangled, and I've been living with debilitating pain for several years now. And now I understand how destroying someone's bite can affect their whole body and even cause a herniated disc. And this is how I became aware of the Nevada State Dental Board. Yes, I have filed complaints against a few dentists, 3 to be exact, and you should know that the acts of violence committed against me dentists don't rat on each other. And since local dentists belong to the LVI Global School of Extortion, they are all in on the game, and the game is called drilling for dollars. And this is why it is vital that you overhaul the entire dental board. For without the proper checks and balances, torture and extortion will prevail. And you should know that I attempted to engage dental board member and then president Dr. Blasco, but he refused to help me after taking money from me. Don't you see, the dental board has been giving everyone the runaround. Not only have my complaints been dismissed, I've been illegally bullied and silenced by 2 government attorneys. Deputy Attorney General Long silenced me during my public comment. The dentist she's supposed to be overseeing. So after 5 years of the most intense suffering, I listened to Governor Sisolak explain how distraught he is over the audit. And I think to myself, maybe we got a chance to help our community so that we can prevent others from suffering the way I have suffered. For I know firsthand how they have repeatedly broken open meeting laws, and I have it all on video. And it was only after watching the video is mandated by statute. You don't inspire a lot of public confidence because you don't allow public comment to go in the way that it was, quite frankly, intended under the open meeting law. As you can see, Ms. Chapin lied to Governor Sisolak. She said she didn't know of any open meeting law violations. Again, everything is all upside down here. You don't have the fox guarding the hen house, and you can't allow practicing dentists to oversee one another. They will protect each other and show favoritism to those that play the game. And when someone figures out what they are up to, they will do anything to silence them. For example, bottom line, my constitutional rights to speak during the public comment were repeatedly violated. They even lied to the police and to a judge to try to get a restraining order against me. Please let me talk to you more about this, Governor Sisolak, and thank you all for your honorable efforts.
Thank you. If you could leave the comments with us, I could enter them into the record more accurately, if you could.
And I have the transcripts from the judge.
Great, thank you. Thanks. And General Ford, if I could get you to call my legal counsel on this, maybe we can get everybody talking on this
Absolutely.
whole issue. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, yes, my name is Drina Barron, and I believe the governor thank you in advance for your service to our community. I want to go through my statement. In the beginning of 2018, I filed a public complaint against one of the present board members, Dr. Byron Blasco, and DSO Glover was chosen to investigate my complaint, but he never called me, and he did not perform any clinical With my complaint, I even sent in one other treatment plan that was given to me by DSO investigator and a dental school specialist that greatly contradicted what Dr. Blasco said was wrong with my mouth. To my surprise, DSO investigator Glover dismissed my complaint. After a little bit of investigation of my own into how this could happen, I found out that Dr. Blasco had voted to give $70,000 I found out that another present dental board member, Pisani, is also the president of Adopt-A-Vet. And Pisani voted to give himself the $70,000 that came from 4 dentists who he agreed to not discipline. Allowed to make these donations to Adopt-A-Vet. And donate this money in lieu of being disciplined and being charged. Then I found out that the mother of another present dental board member, Champagne, is the director of Adopt-A-Vet. Board member Champagne also voted to give his mother the $70,000. It is also true that president board member Pinther is a provider dentist at Adopt-A-Vet. Board member Pinther made after the permitted time period, they only were able to issue letters of caution. I can provide this letter if you would like a copy. One of the big questions I still have is why didn't Dr. Blasco come forward and tell anyone that he gave DSO Glover the $70,000 and that it made it a conflict of interest for Glover to investigate board member Blasco? The 2019 state audit to not protect the public, as I quote directly from the audit, quote, "This inconsistency indicates that at least some complaints dismissed by the DSO coordinator should have been investigated," unquote. I believe these specific board members
get a copy of this record, make our record. Anybody else wishing to speak during this portion of public comment? Second portion. In Las Vegas? Anybody here?
To keep my comments to 3 minutes, as you can see, it's a very short statement.
Go ahead. You want to read it, or do you want to?
I'll read it. First, I came here.
You've got to identify yourself for the record.
Yes.
Sorry, I've got it here, but okay.
Just gonna get
Yeah,
ready to
okay.
do that.
Okay,
That's
go
the
ahead.
first
Okay.
thing on my statement. I apologize. But again, good morning, Governor, General Ford, and Secretary Sagaski. My name is Lisa Zastro. I'm an attorney. And typically I am on the defense side, so I'm coming here to talk to you about issues again with the dental board. But as you can see, the abuse of the dental board is pervasive with respect to citizen patients as well as citizen licensees that I defend. Last October, abusive practices at the Nevada Dental Board. We requested a new soup to nuts investigation, and this board listened and delivered. And Governor, you picked up the torch. And I want to thank you personally on behalf of myself and my clients. And I'd like to thank I didn't attend the meeting, but I listened to the June 25th meeting. And Governor, you hit the nail on the head with your questioning of the board's counsel. It was impressive what you were able to garner from a written report. As one example, when you question board counsel, Ms. Chapman, this is one example. If the DSO advised, the answer is unequivocally yes. DSOs have the unilateral power to vet and dismiss complaints. The board counsel, upon your questioning, attempted to skirt most of your questions. Her lack and the general lack of understanding demonstrated with respect to the duty of government to protect citizens, including licensees, balanced with due process of law, is an overriding characteristic of the Nevada Dental Board, the lack thereof. Your statement, Governor, at the June 25th is at risk of becoming nothing more than a report exactly like the 2016 audit if interest wanes and the same people responsible for the problem remain responsible for fixing it. So we ask that you continue this pursuit. The 2019 audit was delivered to board counsel, yet you heard her state an exhibit attached to the board report. Additionally, the board was advised of the audit at a February 22nd, 2019 meeting. Once the audit findings were released, a defensive response was rather than falling on its sword and seeking to bring changes and restore confidence in the process, the board, through counsel and its president, expressed disdain and made misstatements of fact, material misstatements of fact. For example, the board represented that its processes had been vetted and basically vindicated by the District Court of Nevada in 3 right for adjudication because they wanted us to exhaust our administrative remedies before this problematic board. The judge made 0 findings and certainly didn't vindicate the process. Regarding the third matter, and in preparing for this meeting, I noticed in and legal fees. That matter is in part ongoing, and it is concerning that the board would speak of the case in a public response, given counsel is aware of the bounds of legal ethics requiring restraint so as not to influence the outcome of a pending matter. Moreover, they dare suggest again that they were the prevailing party in that case, yet this board just approved an additional and members is that Judge Timothy Williams brought the investigative and disciplinary process completely and totally to its knees. Judge Williams quashed board subpoenas. He said they are unlawful. He completely and totally stripped the dental board of their subpoena power. These subpoenas were completely and that its process had been approved and vetted in district court is unfathomable. In no way has the district court approved the dental board investigated and before, but I've actually reviewed the transcript in which he was speaking of. The dental board attempted to get a TRO to prevent him from appearing at a public meeting. And I read the transcript, and the judge ripped counsel and said, you can't prevent a citizen. Before other regulatory bodies such as the Nevada State Bar, because I defended attorney rule of law as I have on behalf of my clients at the Nevada Dental Board. Thank you so much for your attention to this very important issue, not just to licensees, but as you heard from citizens. Thank you.
in Las Vegas. Anyone in Carson City?
No one in Carson City.
Okay. Do we have, got this, yes,
I just wanted to let everyone know, due to a scheduling conflict, the August meeting has been moved to August 5th.
okay. I'll tell my scheduler. Okay. Okay, before we confirm that, could we have staff try to contact both the AG and the Secretary of State in my office, to make sure we can get a date that we can all come?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Make sure.